Over these next few days, you guys are gonna watch us turn this space here, this half built out 4 foot by 10 foot space, into a fully functioning sauna.
So there's not a whole lot in here right now besides a little bit of roughed-in electrical, some insulation, and a slab of really beautiful wood that we still don't know what we want to do with yet.
4 years ago, before we moved to Panama, if you heard someone was building a sauna in Panama, what would you think?
4 years ago?
Yeah, before we moved here. What I would have thought is, why do you need a hot room in a place that's already 100 degrees and super steamy?
Yeah. Because you think of Panama, you think it's hot here, but it's not, especially where we are.
This is the current weather status of our mountainside here in Panama. It's windy, it's rainy, and it's been doing this for over a week now. Everything is soaked. We have 40 to 50 mile an hour gusts of wind going on, and I would like nothing more right now than to sit in a warm, toasty, dry room and just relax for a few hours. Now, while we do live on the top of a mountain at 5,500 feet, we're one of the few people who actually do this. So getting the materials that we need to build a sauna, it's not gonna be easy. The thing that's been concerning me the most is trying to find insulation, because people don't use insulation here in Panama. Everything's built out of brick, and you'll just use this kind of stuff, this like aluminum foil stuff. You'll sometimes put that on your roof, and that's about it. So we gotta go try to find some foam board. Well, I'd say we found some foam board. The only problem is I have no idea what R value this is. They just like had foam board. I was like, hey, what R value is this? Like, I don't know, you just put it on your roof. It did get a little beaten up though in the whole debacle that just went down. So the good news is I was able to find foam board insulation for the sauna. The bad news is while I was driving up, like a quarter of it just ripped off. Hold! Oh, you're cracking me up, honey. There's a little wind. Come on. Is that all you got? So it's time. So Sadie's on the baby monitor right now.
She's inside watching a show, and like I
Kaylee
just want
will
her
just
to
like
know,
make noise.
for her to think that I'm like right there. Because the second she realizes I'm not in the room with her, she's like, no.
So she just like says da da ba ba every once in a while.
Couple little songs, you know.
So it's time to finally get to work on this last part of the bathroom.
And this is the final step, the final finishing piece of this whole bathroom off-grid spa that we have been building.
It's time to finally transform this bathroom into a real spa. I'm very happy to start cutting up this foam board and getting it in place, because it is packed in here. We can't even use our toilet right now, or really anything in here. It's just full of foam board. Super clavo. This means super nails in Spanish. My plan is to use this. This is like just general construction glue here in Panama. And my plan is just to use this to glue all the foam board pieces into place. All right, I'm gonna try to get this as tight as I can, but I'm not gonna sweat it because I already know I'm gonna spray all the gaps with spray foam. Okay, I got one side done. Now what I want to do is just take a can of spray foam and just spray it in these cracks, just because I want to see if the little bit of space I've been leaving around the studs is, I just want to see if it's okay. Okay, so I learned a couple things. Number one, I'm gonna need a lot more cans of spray foam. I have done 5 cans so far, and it's basically gotten me through one side. But number two, I need to use some of the styrofoam in the middle of the studs. As you can see, these metal studs are, hold up. Man, what a mess. This whole area was so clean just a few hours ago, and now there's just little white pebbles and pieces of what looks like styrofoam everywhere. It's in everything. But the good news is all the walls are now insulated all the way around. But now unfortunately I'm gonna make even more of a mess, because now we need to start doing the hard part and start insulating the ceiling. Hi! You're so cute.
My phone.
I'm working.
Okay, guy's working. But we could go in there. You want to go in there?
I tried to get it as clean as I could.
You want to go in with your clothes?
No.
No. Okay, you pick them up.
No.
Perfect. Did you like that?
Yeah.
I am so excited about this. So as a lot of you guys know already, we're gonna be spending Christmas here in Panama. This is our second time we spend Christmas here. One very big, very special request that I had was to get a real Christmas tree. I know we don't have a lot of space in the workshop, but we're doing it.
And Panama's strange, you guys. There's certain things you can buy and there's certain things you can't. And you can buy Christmas trees here, but you can't buy the base for the Christmas tree for it to go in. So we're building our own. Actually, Kaylee's gonna build our own.
So we had a couple pieces of scrap metal hanging around. So we just took this big piece of 1/2-inch metal plate, and then we're just gonna weld this piece of metal tubing right on top. So now that I have all 4 corners tacked in really nice, I'm gonna go ahead now and just put a nice, really fat bead that goes all the way around. My little Christmas tree base is working properly. I just tested it with some water. Jord ran some silicone on it, and I think this is going to be perfect. We still need to go get our Christmas tree today, but I've had water sitting in here now for a good hour and there are no leaks on the bottom, so super happy about that. So Jord got all of the foam board pieces up, filled in almost every single crack that he could with the foam board, and he went ahead and started putting all of the spray foam, or as much as he could with what we had. We still need to get some more, but it already feels so different in here. I feel like there are gonna be many hours spent in this room. And now I cannot wait for the best part of this thing, which is going to be preparing all of the wood.
You think this is gonna be the best part?
I think this is gonna be the most messy part, but it's gonna be really satisfying to watch this wood just slide in there like butter, baby.
Maybe on the first one, but on board like 87, I think we're gonna be sick of the butter. We recently bought 100 pieces of this unfinished, beautiful, here they call it caoba. You guys probably know of this type of wood as mahogany. And mahogany isn't typically used in saunas. Typically you use cedar. Well, here in Panama, they don't really have cedar. They have a wood called cedro, and it's only available sometimes. So we kind of had to get our hands on what we could get our hands on, which is unfinished mahogany that we're gonna have to prepare, and we're gonna have to plane, and we're gonna have to tongue and groove all on our own. This is gonna be a lot of work, but I'm ready for it.
All right, we are completely covered in wood chips in every crevice.
This is all good nutrition for our garden. You just spread this stuff around, mix it with some goat poop, and we're gonna grow all of our own food.
100%. This has been a little bit time consuming because all of these boards, even though, how did they come? What were they technically called?
They cut them on like a sawmill, but they're all different thicknesses.
They're all different thicknesses. So a lot of times these boards, we're putting them in 2, 3, sometimes 4 times to get them to the size that we want.
And that's just on one side. We still have to do the other side. Something that I've learned when I'm doing something for the first time is don't do all of it at once. So I'm not gonna do all 100 pieces right now. We have 20 planed on one side. Now I'm gonna plane the other side and make sure we're getting the dimensions that we want.
So we said our goodbyes to Rodrigo and Freddie this morning. They actually are heading to Germany to go spend Christmas with Freddie's family. And we are in charge of making sure their house is all good, but most importantly, Raj, our cat, is all good. He has fully moved into Rodrigo and Freddie's house because we soon found out that Jordan is severely allergic to cats. But he is a very happy boy in here. He just goes in and outside of the house, goes to the bathroom outside. Hi, little baby. Are you sleeping? Don't worry, Rod and Freddie are gonna be back in a couple weeks, okay? I'm gonna have to wash my face and my hands before I kiss Jordan. Here you go, baby. Here you go, my love. And that is the beauty of having each other, us, Rodrigo and Freddie, here on Lola's farm. The whole point of starting this farm was to have a community so that we could have farm animals, we could have a garden, while also each of us being able to come and go as we please and not worry about neglecting the farm or neglecting the animals. And a lot of you guys ask if we plan on bringing more community members onto our land, and it's one of those things that we've kind of just put on hold because it has just worked out so beautifully for it just being the 3 of us, or 4 of us now. But our hearts are open and you never know what the future holds. We do picture maybe having one more couple or family up here someday, but they need to be the perfect fit, and we are not in any rush for that.
Okay, 5 tornillos. Y después necesitamos en inglés el nombre shim. Es pequeñas piezas de madera acá.
So while Jordan and I keep going on the preparation of the wood for the sauna with the planing and the tongue and groove, the guys over here, they're actually going to start putting the strapping on the inside of the sauna. And those strapping pieces of wood are going to act as what we nail gun the finished tongue and groove pieces of wood in, so that it looks really nice and we can use finished nails and you can barely see any of the nails.
You guys are dusty over here. You're all covered in sawdust. That's 20 boards, both sides planed, both sides ready to go. But the next thing that we need to do is each width of all these boards, they're all a little different. They all vary by like 1/4 of an inch. So we made all the thicknesses the same thickness. Now we need to make all the widths the same. All right, so the first thing that we're going to do is take 1/8 of an inch off of one side. That's going to give us one perfectly straight edge. This isn't working. These boards are too wonky. They like change width. They change widths as the piece goes. So when you're pushing it up against here, it's just not really working out. So I think I'm just gonna go for rip cuts with a skill saw instead.
With the skill saw, so we're probably gonna put it on the edge.
You can do like 3.5. So because we don't have either edge of the piece of wood straight, we're using this straight edge to give us a straight edge. So now when we use this and when we run the saw right up against it, it's gonna make a perfectly straight cut. Then we can use that straight edge to butt up against the edge of the table saw and cut the other side to exactly 5.5 inches.
This is gonna take a long time.
We haven't even done tongue and groove yet.
Oh boy.
I'm so happy the guys are smashing this out right now. They got 2 walls done for all the strapping. Now they're gonna get to the hard part with the angle cuts here and the angle cuts there, and then they're going for the ceiling. The sun's setting behind me, so we're taking a little break because today is December 21st, which means we're 4 days away from Christmas. And we don't have a Christmas tree yet. The good thing is we have a lot of trees on our land that look like Christmas trees. It's not gonna be as bushy and as perfect as the Christmas trees in the States, but it's gonna be homegrown, baby.
This is perfect.
This is one of the first trees that we ever planted on this land. This is actually a cypress tree, and we planted this for wood. We planted like maybe 15 of these trees, and unfortunately, we're gonna have to sacrifice one of them for Christmas. You see this tree? Santa's gonna bring presents under this tree. 3, 2, 1. Yeah, we're cutting it. 3, 2, 1. We have our Christmas tree, Bubba.
Our first Christmas tree on Lola's farm, baby. Wait, where's the Christmas music?
Go ahead, honey, you can get the Christmas music on. job, Papa. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Are there any presents under there?
Not
Not
yet.
yet. You want to know what? Santa's gonna come down the chimney.
And then presents and bring toys and toys.
We're gonna bring toys for Sadie. I'm starting to get a grasp on how much work preparing all these boards for the sauna is gonna be. We just have been working on 20 so far today. And my goodness, it's gonna take a lot of time. So my philosophy with this whole project is just turned into don't stop. Just keep going and just keep working on the boards as late as I can until I can't go anymore. And that moment's right now because it is 10:12 and I'm gassed. And when I'm this tired, just running a circular saw just doesn't seem like a good idea. So I'm packing it in and just get up as early as I can and get back after getting these boards ready to get in the sauna.
I feel like we're just finally getting into a rhythm here. This is definitely taking a lot more work and a lot more steps than I anticipated. But I feel like there's definitely gonna be a much deeper sense of gratification when this sauna is done and we can look at it and say, hey, we did every dang step of making this thing. I feel like anytime you do things for the first time, it's always a little bit more intimidating and obviously way more time consuming. But I kind of wanted to pull my hair out, just being like, oh my gosh, this is going to take forever. But then once you kind of start to do it a second time, a third time, a fourth time, you kind of get into this mode of just like flow.
We've now done a rip cut on one side of all 20 of these boards, but now we need to cut the other side. Luckily, this side's gonna be much faster because now that we have one straight edge, we can use the table saw to cut each of these pieces to exactly 5.5 inches wide. This is a good visual with the problem that we're having with these boards and why we have to spend all this time working with them to get them the perfect width. Because if you look, you guys see this edge right here? Watch how this just gets thicker and thicker. Look how much bigger this is than all the way on the end here. This is like paper thin. So when you're routering boards, when you hit those thick parts, it just messes everything up. It jams up the router, it stops going. That's why we're spending all this time, because when we go to do the hardest part, which is doing the tongue and groove, this is gonna be seamless. Today's definitely gonna be a 2 coffee day, 2 cups of coffee today, because there's still so much work that needs to be done. Funny enough, this is how my coffee comes nowadays, in big plastic bags like this. And that's because this coffee's actually grown just over there. For our coffee business, the Morning Movement, we're in the middle of working on 2 new coffees right now. One that's a dark roast that tastes like dark chocolate and cherries. I totally didn't understand how many people in the States love dark roast. But for all you light roast lovers out there too, we're also working on a light roast that's like, it's like super experimental, super fruity. You wanna know what it tastes like? And honestly, it tastes like Skittles. And I wanted to call it Skittles, but with all the copyright stuff, you can't just like rip off someone's brand name. So if any of you guys out there are looking for a good cup of coffee, or you've been waiting for us to come out with a new coffee, just know it's right around the corner. Honestly, probably in our next video, we'll be opening up a brand new coffee, and one that we've been working on for so long. The only reason it tastes so good is the amount of time and the amount of love that's put into it. And this cup of coffee is so freaking good. And not only is it delicious, but it's also gonna power me through for a long, long night ahead. All right, here we go. The hardest part. Well, I got all the boards done and I really want to keep going here, but it's raining. And the rain just like came in. And it's like not downpouring, but it's like the sideways rain. And even though I'm underneath these trees and a little bit of the roof, everything's soaked. The camera's soaked, the router's soaked. Kind of bummed. I really wanted to start getting some of these boards up. It is getting late, but I'm totally cool just playing the wait and see game. And see if this rain lets up in an hour or two. And in the meantime, I still have plenty of work to do in the sauna and getting ready to put the boards up. I don't know about you guys that have built stuff before, but my favorite part, hands down, has got to be, whoa! Has got to be spraying spray foam. Well, that's it. I thought I bought plenty of spray foam, but there's none left. I mean, these cans are so huge, and I probably had a total of 10 of these. So all this is all done, but I didn't have enough to do the ceiling yet. But that should just be a couple of spray foam cans, and we're not anywhere close to having the wood ready. At least in the next one, we're gonna start putting some wood up in the sauna. I couldn't be more excited. I thought we were gonna get to it on this one, but man, making your own dimensional lumber takes a lot of time. It's slow going. We're just gonna keep going and just keep trying to do the best that we can with what we have.